Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Proving Grounds Pod, your one-stop shop for all things Proving Grounds. My name is Max, and I'm joined by my constant co-host, Cubby. And today we have with us a very special guest, all the way from Cloud9 Academy. We got Copy, the mid laner, and we're very excited to be talking with you. A throwback from last year, where we got to talk about you for pretty much the entire year. You were smurfing the entire time. Now you come into this year continuing that trend. Copy, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good, man. Today was an off day for us, so I just stayed in bed for a pretty long time, and yeah, woke up to the Proving Grounds games, which were bangers. So
hanging out with us on your off day, very honored.
Dude, the games
you?
today though, for real, they like the game 1 of Norg Barrage, and then both games like the INC Wildcard series like still has to finish up, were really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some games that delivered today. Yeah.
For those of you who are listening, not on the day that we're recording this, Cubby just casted 4.2 games of League of Legends. It's a pretty fun time with XT. And yeah, that rounded out the first week, or the second week, excuse me, of Proving Grounds. And we almost got to see our 4th elimination, but either Immortals or Wildcard gets to live another day until they
I feel like we
play
need like a
that
bump,
match.
bump, bump, like one of those, you know? Like we're just building up the tension still.
Where are my academy teams?
Yeah, Copy, you got to send another one down to the lower bracket here in the next round, right?
Exactly.
You guys are going to be all alone, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know, actually, that's kind of a throwback to the start of the entire amateur season, right? C9 versus amateur.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah. Smacks, you picking up on I'm laying down there?
I
I think it's just unexpected.
Yeah.
That's all we need to talk about with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We like Copy being on the show. We don't want to get him in trouble.
Exactly. But yeah, we're very excited that you're here with us, talking with us, as the first seed, first place in Academy, regular season, undefeated mid laner, in the Proving Grounds playoffs. How has this year been for you on Cloud9?
Honestly, this year's pretty fast. Like, the amount that we're learning and like the amount of time we have to show that on stage. Like, we only had 9 academy stage matches, and like now Proving Grounds a bit of matches too. Like, we learn a lot in scrims, but I feel like we can't show as much on stage just because we don't like have as many games as amateur, you know. But yeah, it's been a pretty fast year and lots of learning.
Definitely. I mean, I definitely it seems like you'd have a lot to learn on a team like this. You're coming in as an academy rookie on a team that is just like so stacked for veteran talent. You got the Oceanic bundle of Shurnfire, King and Isles, and then Darshan still kicking it up in that top lane. How's it been being on a team with like all those veteran voices?
I mean, like, I don't know how to say it, but like, these guys are just insane players. Like, normally when people bring up veteran, it's just been like a known thing in the scene, like, oh, they're like probably washed up at the game, they only have like game knowledge to offer. Like, these guys are like really good at the game, and they've helped me a lot, inside and outside of the game, so I'm really grateful to have them as my teammates, especially Darshan. I feel like we've been like teaching each other a lot. We've been doing 1v1s. He's been helping me out with like communication. So yeah,
that's actually, so like, I mean, 2 parts of that being fun. Darshan, Mr. President, fun fact, you know, so you get to be paired up with him, but also B, I know that like when the in-house server existed, and also like just rumblings from like off seasons in the past, Darshan actually plays a lot of mid lane, and he played some mid lane in the in-house server as well. So have you been picking up any top lane to like try and match him up there in the 1v1s, or are those mostly taking place in the mid lane?
I mean, yeah, I can play like the tanks, like the Orns and the sets, but like those top lane esque champions, like the GP, I'll like get stomped on or like things like that. But yeah, we'd be just trading like 1v1 matchups, like knowledge with each other. So yeah, being pretty good.
I don't blame you. GP is really hard. I
Yeah.
cannot play that champion. Even in like ARAM, I'm just
I
like,
agree.
I'm gonna ult them. I don't expect any barrel shit from me. I will not be able to do it.
Same.
So that's really cool. There's another player in the Cloud9 org that I'm also wondering how the 1v1s have gone. You and Perks over there. Been having some good 1v1s with him.
Yeah, we'll call them good, but like it's definitely Perks we're talking about, and it's just like it's like Perks, and then it's just like I'm not even on the scale. It's like copy like all the way down here, like it's fine. But no, I'm learning a lot from Perks.
He's very humble of you, yeah.
Yeah. He's a really good player. That's always a lot to learn from him.
That's yeah, he's pretty impressive, and honestly, like it's fun like watching you go from an environment with 100 Thieves next, where obviously you were somewhat new to the competitive scene, learning and growing with them, to Scouting Grounds, now to C9, where you're placed with some more veteran members and like still learning and growing from them, but also holding your own too in like a lot of these games. And I'm kind of curious like how you feel about like how this first split of Academy's gone from like your perspective on your play. Like, do you feel like you are holding up? Is there some parts of your play that you feel like you're lacking? Like, where do you kind of stand on how you've played so far this season?
Where do I start? So, I think I've been like in mixed feelings with the meta. I'm not sure if it's like the meta I enjoy, but there's like some champs like the Yones, the Syndras, which I enjoy, and some I don't. So I'm on like mixed feelings there. As for like gameplay, I think I think everyone knows this. I'm more of like the supportive team player, which I tend to keep because I think that's a good trait of mine. I'd say in places to like improve, it would probably be better lane phases, which I talked with Vigar V2 and Max Waldo. I think they've been helping me out a lot. And yeah, I think our team play, from what I've learned in C9, our team play, our macro, is just being a lot better for me in particular.
I've particularly been enjoying the way that you guys have been playing around Surenfire, especially in the last two series.
Yeah,
that guy is really smurfing it.
Yeah,
I've been very impressed.
Everyone.
Yeah. Copy drops waves to get Surenfire too.
Yeah.
it's like it's the Kenvi and XI run back,
It is. It really is.
Yeah. I actually remember like seeing, I think Vigar's like Twitter about how like if you give your mid laner like 2 waves around like level 4 or 5 mid, or like the jungler comes mid and like takes like 2 waves, just like hits level 6 like 5 minutes, like accelerated like for the rest of the game. I want to see a team try and do that and just like see how disgusting it is. Is this something that like is this like the real copy strat? We get like the Galio back and you just leave lane level 4 on that Shurn farm it?
Dude, like guys, jungle is so OP. Like I'm telling you, I hate this jungle role. It's way too OP. But yes, I will always play for jungle. I'm a play for jungle player. So
yeah, well, Surenfire is not letting it go to waste. It's been a really good refresher because we haven't seen you in a while, of course. The Cloud9 team, it's been all things amateur and the bottom 4 academy teams, and then you guys weren't in the Northern Arena one either, where we got to see like Armeo was doing really well, Kenvi was doing really well, Contracts, of course. And then I was like, wow, all these junglers are super good. And then Surenfire comes in, I'm like, oh yeah, we have another super smurf jungler. Yeah. So this role just seems so incredibly stacked in this tournament. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of these junglers, like Onda, for example, I feel like he definitely does not belong in amateur. Like,
nope. Nope.
Yeah, like
it doesn't take many games to find that out.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, jungle is definitely stacked in terms of players. Like I enjoy watching my farmer teammates, like Kenvi and XI. They're all doing well, so happy to see them.
Yeah. Speaking of them, I asked this of Shoryu a couple of weeks ago when he was on. how likely is it that one of your former teammates, or multiple, because 100 Academy exists, wins the whole thing? Because you got you guys, Cloud9. You got 100 Academy with 3 of them. We have Tenacity, Kenvi, and Poom. And we also have FlyQuest, who are still here, with NXI. And we don't have to talk about the bot laners there. Yawn hooks. That's okay. But the other guys, how likely do you think it is that one of you wins the whole thing?
I would say actually pretty very high chance that one of us win. Like coming into Proving Grounds, we're like, oh yep, it's just gonna be a rematch, us versus TO again, just for battling for first. And then that didn't happen. Like I don't know what happened there. And then 100 Thieves, like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna beat them in the upper bracket, but they'll climb their way back up through lower bracket, and then we'll see about that. Same thing for FlyQuest, but I don't know, man. It's like kind of lonely in the upper bracket. Like there's
like flies.
only what us and EG Academy teams.
Yeah, to be fair, there's only 4 teams left, but it is only 2 Academy teams, and only one is going to move on. We're guaranteed the big Academy Amateur showdown between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, honestly. It's like a different universe.
Yeah, so I know that like a lot of the amateur teams are like we were kind of pitching it as like the amateur teams are pretty decent like coming into this, right?
No, they're good. Like I wouldn't even say they're decent. They're good.
Yeah. Is
for
this
sure caught us off guard?
Okay, so I was about to ask, like, is this like what you expected to see out of the tournament, or do you think that like those teams, like those 6 teams that have come on up, have been like overperforming compared to like the expectations that you had?
Honestly, no. Like I thought the Academy teams were just gonna like win, but they like obviously surprised us, especially Zeus. Like we were scared that we're gonna lose that series, you know.
Yeah, the RBM Kazakhs is pretty good.
It's it's actually good. Like he one-shot me in that team fight you get. So.
Yeah, the Prowler's Claw through the Lucian dash too was
exactly
That was a cool interaction.
Really nice. But like, I feel like some Academy teams, including us, just took them too lightly, and we, just dropped out because of that. So
it would have actually been like amazing if. For me, like if Sola Fide were in, like I dig Mig. They did their best. They had some decent games. Obviously, you guys got the best of them. The only reason they were in that game too was because of a Jinx Baron steal. Which I mean, honestly, what better way to welcome you to amateur than experience one of those throughout the season? As it was actually so funny to watch broadcast today because like all the Jinx salts were getting stuffed. Everyone's like, everyone knows now. They're like, get in front of it.
We were like. I think it did like 1,500 damage, so you can't actually outfight it. So
you can't.
It's uncapped.
Yes, against monsters, so you have to block it no matter what.
Yeah, Riot Games just like really want to watch the world burn with that one. But like Digmig did their best, but like if Sola Fide was in this tournament too, I mean, there could have easily been a world where like half of the top 6 would have been amateur teams because Sola Fide like. They were every series against Barrage went to 5 games. They like were splitting everything. I know that Noir got their Blue Side Kingdom game 2 today. Game 1 from Barrage should have been 1, but the Baron was just they tripped over themselves trying to snowball it through. But there could have been like a world where the amateur teams like I knew like they were gonna be legit, but I am pretty surprised still at how well they're doing as someone like who's followed him like arguably the closest or one of the closest throughout like this entire season. Yeah, and obviously you guys got that experience directly going up against Zeus. One of the better amateur teams that we've had all year too, and the only other team that's really challenged no work. So, yeah, toilet paper cats OP.
Agreed.
It's really funny. Our friend Doc made the logo, and he just gets super pissed whenever he sees it, and then it showed up on the client, and he's just like, what is this, man?
No, he's like I fucking made it. He's like got 2 logos on the client. He was our graphics person for Cup, and like the whole competitive ruling took place, and then all of a sudden,
the logos on the screen right now.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he's like, okay, I got like 2 logos for him. Like I'll just like make them like for like the tournament, and they just did that. So it was pretty funny.
Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, so I obviously, you've had your experience with amateur. You guys survived the gulag, as we like to call it down here, that you were in, in the last split. But now you are going up against EGA for the next game, a team that's early games have been looking dominant with their team. What are your expectations going into that matchup? We'll first talk like as a team, and then I'll ask about Jojo Pion next.
Yeah, I think we've watched their games now, and contracts just has been taking over every early game. So
yeah.
I think we're just gonna have to play better as a team, because I think the way their solo lanes play around contracts is good. So we just have to match that or play better. And yeah, I think it'll be a interesting series for sure.
Yeah, they have been on a pretty big tear too. They took the whole like winners bracket side of the Giant Slayer tournament, and then they got reverse sweep by Golden Guardians. But yeah, they won the best of 3.
I want to mention like they were like 10th place in Academy, right?
Yeah.
And then like in a month they just improved this much. So props to them. Like they made it this far, and we thought like we're shrugging them off, but yeah, they just improved really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelsey, Empire, Peter Dunn, OP, I guess, as
yeah.
they were able to turn it around pretty fast. We saw that in both Smacks and I were the 2 cover casters for Giant Slayer, and we saw like front row seat to that, like how much better they got.
Both teams.
Yeah, both teams throughout that series. As EG,
half the winners semis are evil geniuses.
It's a Live Evil. It's like it's Giant Slayer all over again, man. It's the Live Evil bracket. It is what it is, but. Yeah, it's been cool to see the improvement, and nice of you to shout them out too, because like that was a big improvement going from 10th to 1st, and exactly. I know that like you guys were sitting as the top dogs, and it's tough to improve like as the top dogs always, right? Because like you guys are always the ones that are getting challenged, and so I'm kind of curious like for you like how you feel like your path as a squad like to improvements going like kind of being the top dogs and like where you feel like you sit in this tournament still coming in as the number 1 seed.
Obviously I still think we're the best, but in terms of improvement, like all these other teams are catching up, so it's just on us to really like put in the work during practice, during scrims. We just have to try to discipline ourselves, try to play as clean as possible, and just fix our bad habits, bad mistakes, work as a team better. There's only so much you can do, right? Unless you get like better scrim qualities or like things like maybe scrims with LCS. Who knows?
Well, hey, their season's going to be wrapped up here, and or at least they're split in a couple days. MSI hopefully is on the table for them as some bummer news coming out of TL as Santorin's not going to be able to compete this weekend, which just blows.
Wait.
Yeah, he has health issues. So
he's like going through migraines right now. So Armeo's playing for DL. Gabi's checking Twitter right now. He's like, no. Gabi's like, no fucking way that's going on.
Oh, that kind of just blew my mind. But okay.
Yeah.
I'll focus.
It's good to hope obviously players come first. So hope all is well with Santorin, but that does make playoffs a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Armeo's good though. I think they still have a shot at winning it, but
if anyone's going to fill into that role too, it's him, right? He has the experience,
right?
So yeah.
Armeo's good. I'm just a little worried that they're going to lose and people are going to clown on him for no reason.
Yeah,
because if he loses, it's to TSM, which is an old team, and that just would have to suck if he loses. So kind of rooting for Team Liquid to win that series, even though I've been a TSM fan for a while.
Actually. Kind of hitting on that topic, I was curious to like kind of get your thoughts or like everyone's thoughts on this, as we are now pretty far into proving grounds. Amateur teams are exceeding expectations, and we've seen a lot of backlash from the community about amateur teams beating up on academy teams, which, to be frank, we kind of all expected. And I'm kind of curious, like with your perspective, Copy being A, on the dominant amateur team last year, and then now B, being on one of the top dogs of academy this year, like kind of like what your thoughts are in the situation, and like kind of like where like your sentiment is like versus like some of the general community sentiment, which is like, oh, like these academy players like don't deserve to get paid anymore. I know that there was an EG thread where they said that the players shouldn't deserve to eat food in Giant Slayer, which was honestly some of the funniest shit I've ever read. And usually it's
so
not
outlandish.
a great PR move for your like a response to be like, I don't even know what you're thinking, like this open your response with that. But when Peter Dunn opened up his response with that, that is the perfect time to use that opener, I will say. But I'm just like kind of like curious like what your general thoughts are on that like sentiment and like how we can improve it.
I mean, no, I think it's good that amateur teams are upsetting Academy. Obviously, it's like good competition, right? People want to see it, but I feel like the way the community takes it is definitely wrong right now. Like when I see this, I'm like, wow, like an amateur team like, which one was it? It was Zeus, right? Zeus 201 TSM.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow,
Which we
Zeus
expected. We expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I was gonna say like Zeus is really good. Instead, like the community thinks, wow, TSM's really bad, which is I think a bad mindset to like take in. Like you shouldn't be like shit talking the academy teams. You should be like praising the amateur teams for doing that.
For sure.
For upsetting.
Yeah.
It happened with TL too. Like it's like they lost to the Barrage, which is pretty nuts. That one was definitely unexpected.
Yeah,
that
was
Cubby and I too.
I thought TL was the strongest team in the tournament. I tweeted that out, and from Northern Arena, I thought they were too. But their champion pools got exposed a little bit, and they made some pretty bad decisions trying to snowball the game too fast. So that was curious. But yeah, it pisses me off honestly, because like, yeah, like there is an argument to be made that like amateur teams should not be beating academy teams, right? Because you guys are doing this full time. I know that like RBM's in the chat right now. That guy's a student and he works part-time jobs, right? Like they aren't able to scrim as much, but also like it's not like the amateur team is like,
yeah, it's not like they're on the streets or some shit.
Yeah, like they're beating you guys like straight up legit, and I don't know like why orgs are getting a shit ton of flame for that. Like especially like in a public setting, right? I just it doesn't, and especially like I mean, Alorum's on the team. Alorum was playing in LCS a year ago at this time, right? Like. And Lorum's really good at the game, and Darkwings is a top prospect. Rhino is pretty damn good at support. Like, I don't get it. And I know that, like, even, like, from the outside looking in, like, NA as a region, it's always been like, man, NA, like, has no talent. Like, why isn't this the moment where everyone's like, holy shit, maybe the region does have talent? I don't get it. Yeah.
Instead, they're just, like, trashing the other players that are already in, like, LCS or Academy. But it should be the opposite.
Yeah.
They should be praising and trying to, like, help, like, prosper all the talent. An amateur?
Yeah, sure. It's brutal. So I'm wondering if you have any thoughts, Max, before I go off on my league tangent about how it's fans don't know what's going on in the game.
I mean, I think it's just a little jarring for like the casual audience to get used to. I don't want to like defend them because they get really nasty with that stuff. But I think it's definitely like really jarring that like, oh, the toilet paper cat is going to game 3 against Cloud9. Or the Barrage beating Team Liquid and all of that stuff. Really, I think that bit of it is a little jarring, but I think once people realize, oh, this is the Academy playoffs, and like we're giving 6 amateur teams a chance to like see if they can like prove themselves. That's why it's called the Proving Grounds. Right. So I think once the initial shock wears off, then maybe it gets better, but it really just shouldn't be this bad to begin with. People need to figure out how good these guys are. Whichever way it happens, but yeah.
It's just like it's so difficult for like fans in league to like put 2 and 2 together, like who's like actually good or not for like a casual fan. Like because I can watch Blabber Path for a game, pick the same exact champion, the same exact rune setup, do the same exact thing, and not understand why he did it, but I feel like I'm as good as Blabber because I did the same thing, right? And fans like cannot put 2 and 2 together, whereas like I draw a lot of parallels to golf because I'm a good golfer. If I hit a good drive, it goes 280 yards. If Bryson DeChambeau hits a good drive, that thing carries 330 yards, and he swings the club 40 mile an hour like 40 mile an hour faster than I do. Like it, I know like from looking at that, like, wow, I can't do that. Like that's just not possible. Whereas like in league, it's like there's a big disconnect there for fans, and it just leads to like a really shitty mentality where like people just get flamed for no reason because there's this mentality I feel like where a lot of people behind the keyboard think that, hey, I can do that, right? And I've made the joke like that I can do that at times. Like my classic joke is value on no org. That guy just plays weak side. My joke is like I could play weak side on that team and still win. That's a joke because I couldn't do that. Value is really fucking good, but he's undefeated on Senna Seraphine, and he's like 10-2 on Ezreal, playing weak side. So and the reason is he's really fucking good. But I don't know.
I don't get it today too, Cubby. I'm gonna change your narrative.
He did not go off on Tristana today. He was kind of running it until
you didn't hear me. I said he won on Tristana today.
Oh,
I did not say that he carried on Tristana.
Okay. I was about to say, some of those rocket jumps looked like Malphite ults that backed my Malphite ults. Dude, I love that meme, by the way. That was funny as shit.
Oh, what a tactical start, man.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Speaking of NA talent, though, Copy, I wanted to ask you about this because we've had a lot of discussions on this show about a lot of the different roles and how competitive the pool is and how much talent there is. We've been particularly impressed with the support this year when compared to last year and others.
Yeah, it doesn't suck this year.
How good do you feel the mid talent pool is for this year? Because for last year you were playing up against mainly Fire and APA and Busio. That was your main competition.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot else.
Exactly.
But this year there's a lot. So I was
gonna bring that up. Yeah. There's a lot more mid prospects. I think DNA, like the two teams I faced, DNA, Darkwings, those guys were really good at mid. Who else?
The other amateur ones would be Fire, APA, who you played last year.
Those guys I already played. I already know they're good. But I just feel like every pool, not only mid, like every pool of players is just getting better and better, which is really good. And that just comes from having more eyes on the scene, like more analysts, more coaches willing to help teams. It's just a good cycle.
Sure. Where do you think that you stack up as a player in the mid pool for Proving Grounds?
Well, there's like different aspects to look at, like different things to look at: laning, like kill participation, wards, like everything can measure how good you are in mid. But I'd say like overall, I still think I'm the best mid laner in Proving Grounds. But yeah.
Awesome.
I have appreciated watching you kind of expand your pool and how like using other ways to like support mids, right? Because like I don't remember you playing a lot of Lucian last year. So it's nice to watch you, play some of those champs as well, and just being able to kind of evolve your play. That's the big compliment I've paid APA this year. I mean, you remember playing against him last year, right? He just was like perma Roma squad, and that's like it. This year, his best champion's actually been Orianna. He's got 18 plays on it, and he has a 77% win rate, and that's
his Victor took down TLA. So
and that's like. Those are like the steps in the evolutions like I want to see out of like the players that are up and coming, right? Because when you get to that big stage, you have to be able to flex those styles to play whatever your team needs to win the game. And that's
exactly.
It's been really good seeing a lot of you guys, including yourself, make those strides in your play. So that's been a lot of fun. Yeah. Big difference from you missed the Karma Galio days at all?
No, I actually don't. Well, actually, I do miss Tenacity calling me. Wave 3, go, dive. Just stack your HP, go.
What? Darshan doesn't do that when he's playing Tryndamere?
Oh yeah, he did bring out the Vayne and Tryndamere. Jesus. When we first saw those Instagrams, we couldn't like keep a straight face.
Dude, okay, the Tryndamere actually was like a legit good pick in the game that you guys played it.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, no, like everyone was like, oh, like this is like such an ego pick from Darshan. I'm like, dude, he's playing Tryndamere into gank playing Skarner. That is an awesome champion in a gang.
Really high value. Yeah,
exactly. It's super high value. So I was like, I seen this a lot from your org, and I know it's from Max and Vigar, but like you have a lot of flavor picks in your org, and I like seeing those come out. And is that something where like you guys as players feel like you're enabled to do that just because of the coaching staff, or is like that coming more from you guys or more from the staff as a whole?
I mean, you nailed it. Like Max and Vigar, I feel like they're big facilitators and like helping you understand what's good in different scenarios, and they just try to enable you, like they don't want to limit you to like one style or one champion. Like if a champion looks good somewhere, then just pick it. Like the Tryndamere was like really high value. Like obviously the sideline didn't go well, but I think the champion is still really good into what was it? GP Skarner.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the support, but it was good
Jinx
into the
Thresh.
support. Yeah.
You guys were
Like,
looking to just
Jinx Thresh
play the
can't stop
sides.
it,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it like it didn't like it didn't dominate, but like
Yeah.
like in the score line, but still like if you watch that game, the forward percentage on that was probably like 70+%. I mean, he was just living under the turret of GP,
Exactly.
and
It's a lot
like,
of pressure. Yeah.
yeah, and I like that a lot too, because like Dragoon's GP, like every game that Dragoon picked GP in the last tournament, it was blind. That is his blind pick if it's up. He's good at it. And I like seeing that you guys had something prep for that, even if
Darshan had something.
yeah, and like I kind of mad that everyone's like, oh, this is an ego pick. I'm like, no, this is lit. Like this is really really good. Like you guys insta locked it. I was like, this is really good here. They prepped this. Yeah.
You played it to win last year too.
Mm-hmm.
Not the first time. So
and that's you got to bring back the Zion Spartan Flare sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
Mr. President, you know, it's get behind him.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know, speaking of last year for 100 next though, I was curious what you think that team of well, let's secure it down to like Tenacity, Kenvi, you, and Jan and Otto. Let's pick those 5. How good do you think that core of players that won like all the tournaments in a row would do in this tournament?
That was a good core roster. Like,
yeah,
I won't deny that.
Nothing against like NXI or Poom or anything. You just won like everything with that 5. So I'm curious about that.
So I would have to weigh this roster versus my current roster. So it'd be me versus me in the mid lane.
Yep,
that's true. I hope you've gotten a little bit better this year.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think it'll do fine, honestly. I think it'll be like a top 4, even top 3 team. But I think the C9A. Yeah. But I think the C9A. I think No Org is really good right now too. I'm not sure if they would stack up to that, but yeah, they'll still be a good team.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like obviously, the success of that roster as a whole, like placing everyone in academy except for the coach, and then the players have like been doing well. Like I know that COG took an early exit, but the one game they won, Hook smashed every single roam from Poom.
Yeah, that was
one of the game. It was really good reads from Osama. Jan had a tough series 0-4, but I mean TL was I thought the strongest team in the tournament. They won Northern Arena. Jan's looking really strong, and then obviously the 100 Thieves team, bit of a slip up, but a lot of talent on that roster. That I mean, you know firsthand how good those guys are. So it's been cool to see kind of the success and the legacy of that initial roster. Unfortunately, this version they went for a very young core. Their average age was under 18. And just weren't able to figure it out to qualify, even though they did tie with Dignitas Mirage. And Digmig just won off a tiebreaker to get into the tier 2s, which kind of sucked, but was close. I do like the new core they have. Busio, you would have played against him mid last year. He's playing support now.
Yeah.
I think he's very, very talented and very well spoken for his age too. So
yeah, to reverse sweep him in Cup. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
fun
right.
times.
Oh, that was a hell of a series.
That was when Falling Bandit was in the roster, right?
That was like the first best of 5 that you had to play without Tenacity Kenby.
Yeah. That was definitely stressful. I remember.
Oh yeah.
Falling Bandit, our coach just actually carried our coach, like unironically.
Dude, the Kennen was insane.
It was a banger.
It was so sick.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, guys, I'm just gonna play Kennen, and it's fine. Every flank. Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Oh man. We were so young back then, Copy. All 3 of us in our early stages, and now look at us. We're the kings of esports.
Yeah, man. I turned 25 like 2 weeks ago, and my hands like almost falling off. I don't know what's happening now. It's brutal. Holy shit.
Dude, I had to get a new chair so that my My
You don't-
wrists don't hurt.
you
That's
don't have back
bad.
issues?
That one's not a joke.
Oh, really?
Oh.
It's not a joke. Oh, fuck. It is
Oh,
boomer
God.
status.
Yeah.
It's good to be
Oh,
on, Copy.
man.
Enjoy it.
Well, Copy, it's been real fun catching up with you, man. I gotta say it's been an absolute blast watching you absolutely smurf it. Like stacking up with all those veterans on your team too has been really, really cool. I know that when I first saw that you got picked up by Cloud9 Academy, I was like, fuck yes, he's gonna be under perks.
I remember.
He's gonna,
Dude,
yeah.
that was
I got
actually-
so excited.
It was crazy watching you guys like in the off season because like obviously like we knew like when you guys were going to scouting grounds like these guys are good, right? You guys top 2 at every tournament. And then you ended up on Team Infernal where you guys bodied everyone until finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then NXI smurfed us.
Yeah. Actually, okay, so real quick, like taking a pit stop there for scouting grounds, kind of like going back.
Sure.
What was that experience like for you? Because that was your first scouting grounds. Team Infernal, I think the staffs were EG and a couple more teams that I can't think of off the top of my head.
EG, Immortals, and there was one more, I think, or
Yeah.
maybe it was those two. I'm not sure.
How
But
like
yeah.
how much did that going through scouting grounds feel like help you improve? And like was that the reason like you ended up landing on C9 or like was it like other stuff?
As for like the experience, I feel like getting coached by like Peter Dunn and Matt and I forgot I don't know how to pronounce it actually. Is it Gil Hodo? Is that his name?
Gilly Hodo from IMT.
Yeah. I mean,
Him and
that
Jensen over there.
experience- Yeah, Jensen too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Those coaches, I feel like they brought a new perspective to us, while allowing us to play and show our styles off too.
Mhm.
I don't know. It just gave me like a taste of pro play, you know, because amateur wasn't like, even though it was only a year back, it wasn't like as developed as it is right now. So I feel like in scouting grounds, I got a real taste of like what academy and LCS feels like in terms of how coaches and players interact with with one another. So yeah.
What do you think the biggest like mile marker as for you has been as a player, like developing in the past year or so? So there's the scouting grounds circuit, there's the main event for scouting grounds you just talked about, there's the academy regular season, and now you're in the proving grounds tournament.
I mean, it's probably regular season academy because I feel like with Shern and Isles, I learned like I just learned this concept straight up, like how to 3v3 with mid jungle and support. I feel like that's a really important aspect to the game, like how to connect your players to one another. Yeah, I feel like Shern taught me a lot on how to play the game together and like on timers with tempo. I feel like yeah, I feel like the biggest mile marker was probably academy.
Do you wish that you guys got to play more games than just 9?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty tilted when like we just play 9 games and then we have a random 1 month break. Like, I don't know what to do then. Like, we just started scrimming a couple weeks back, but I remember when we first were off after we got first in regular season, we were just like, yeah, what do we do now? You know, I feel like their format was kind of awkward. So, whereas the amateur teams played like what 70 games or more,
Yeah,
which was a lot of
There's so many.
experience.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think Barrage is on 90 games now. I'm not even
Yeah,
shitting
which
you.
is
They're
It's
almost at 100.
absurd.
Yeah, they like times 10 our games. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of crazy. So
I had a feeling you'd say that because pretty much every player has said that to us. But I just wanted to see, because we're all about getting the different perspectives here over on the Proving Grounds pod. But yeah,
Yes. Okay. No, go. Do you have anything good, Smax?
I would love
I have something
to
good.
have more prep on the top academy teams going into the the playoffs.
Okay, so this
so
is,
that I actually know how good you guys are right away.
this is a fun game that we've played with a few people. And to be fair, we've had some Academy members on, including your friend and ex-teammate Osama, right? Talking a lot about the format for Academy. And so we are not trying to put you on the spot when we say this, but we're generally curious, like from your player perspective, what you think. For you, what would be the ideal format for Academy, assuming that it still leads in the Proving Grounds and the top 6 teams at the end of the day still qualify? What would you like that first half of the regular season to look like that you think would be best, like for like not only competition, but also like your development as a player on a team?
It's a good question. I probably would just want. What did they do last year? They just did a regular season into playoffs, right?
It was last year
It was just double round
it was
robin.
18 games, so double round robin. It was the same format as LCS.
Yeah, I would probably want that, except the addition of, instead of when regular season is done, we just go to playoffs, and then we do top 6 there, and then have like a 2-week break after that's all done, and then go back into Proving Grounds. I feel like that'll give newer players like me more stage experience, because like I definitely feel the difference between playing scrims and playing on stage. So more experience with that would always be helpful.
Yeah.
Do you
I
would you like best of 3s?
Um,
Or you like
probably
best of 1s?
probably BO3s. Oh, you're talking about regular season.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, probably BO1s actually. I think BO3s are pretty exhausting in regular season, but definitely in the playoffs, so it should be BO3s or BO5s.
Yeah, I think that bit is a little interesting because like best of ones just don't exist for the amateur teams the entire split. They haven't played any the whole time.
I think it's
So
like really aided some of the teams too. Like if you think of Barrage and like how they play, that team doesn't give a fuck if they lose a game. Like they're flipping
yeah.
everything that they can, and it goes in their favor a lot because like they've gotten used to it, right? Whereas like if it's best of ones, it feels like each team is kind of like, well, we don't want
More
to lose.
reserved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more
I
reserved.
can see that actually.
Yeah.
I can see that perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get your thought on the best of threes like taking a toll in the regular season though. But I mean, I just want more games. I want to see you smurf
Yeah,
it some more. I want to have a good understanding of like how good each team is. Helps me, helps you, helps the viewers, helps everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I would like. Also,
Yeah.
maybe then they're like, oh man, we don't have enough casters to cast these games. Smacks, you should come cast for me. Smacks, come on, come cast Academy, and I'll be like, oh, if you insist, and I'll come out.
It's
like-
actually that's exactly how the conversation is gonna go in the call as well.
Yep.
Yeah, the same tone of voice, everything exactly. the
Please,
same.
I beg you, Smacks. We need you. You're our only hope. Okay. Yep,
Smacks
that'll be
starts
me.
his first Academy cast in a Stormtrooper outfit.
Oh man.
I would
Yeah.
love to see
Oh man.
And, how expensive are those? I'd have to drop quite a bit of money. Maybe I can write that up.
It's worth it
as a
just for this
text.
bit. You know, we're gonna have like 100
Yeah.
listeners. Only 100 people will know, and you just
Can
start
I
cast off with a bang.
if I wear it on the LCS stream, then I can write it off on my taxes though. So I think it'll be okay if I do that.
Look at all the new stuff
Anyway.
that we're learning. Teaching copy about taxes.
that.
Everything a gamer
Perfect.
wants. Yeah, and
I'm
cares
a
about.
Giga Zoomer, so I
You
don't
know-
have to worry about taxes yet.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Copy? I sort of related to that. I want to know how you feel that you've been able to like advertise and brand yourself as a player. Whether that be like through Cloud9, through 100 Thieves, or just through your own like stream or something like that. How do you think you've been able to shape your own self as a player?
In terms of like branding, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when I first started 100 Thieves, like all the orgs, 100 Thieves helped me out a lot, and then when I came here, C9 helped me out a lot. But in terms of like individually, I think it's hard to like brand yourself on Academy, especially because the viewership compared this year to last year, it used to be like 20 or 30K, but now it's like 4 to 5K, which is like hard for new players to get into the scene and like people to know about them.
At least, not to interrupt, but at least with Proving Grounds, between YouTube, Twitch, being on LCS, and Rating Academy, they're trying to grow the Academy channel, which I appreciate. And also, I'd say we're hovering around like 20K-ish.
Oh, really? In total?
Yeah, between like YouTube, the 2 Twitch channels, like all that, that's probably about like where we're hovering. But you are 100% correct with Academy. I remember me and Kelsey like rage tweeting that like LCS official wasn't tweeting about Academy at like the start of the split.
Yeah, that was weird.
It wasn't on LCS official, which I know that I did a stream talking about this, like where LS actually came in and said that like he wanted to co-stream Academy but couldn't because it's not on LCS official with like how the co-streaming rules work. So you couldn't co-stream until Proving Grounds, which also, I mean, let's face it, the reality is that if you aren't letting your game be co-streamed, you're losing out on a ton of exposure and viewers, right?
Right.
And so that sucked as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really hope that some of those strides are taken to get more eyes on you guys, because I am in the camp, like, I don't think that growing the eyes on development is like the main priority, and frankly, growing the LCS broadcast is more important. But that said, there are still some real low-hanging fruit pieces that LCS can do to help you guys out, right? And maybe you want to get the ear of Mr. President about that too, because the Players Association might actually be able to do something about that.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'll send an anonymous tip.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cubby told me to tell you this.
Yeah, use my name too. That's actually great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, the viewership being lower has been pretty rough. But I know, like, you were definitely one of the biggest names coming out of last year. At least for me, I was very excited.
Anyone from 100 Next or Anew was big,
Exactly.
and then Niles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then now on the first place team, how do you feel like you've been able to stand out in that regard?
I'm not sure actually. In terms of like Academy, I feel like we stand out, and to like some LCS teams we're getting noticed because we're like first place. But individually, like I want to start doing more in terms of like branding myself. Like I tried streaming like for 2 days, and I was like, is this really for me?
You didn't like it?
I mean, I don't know why, but I just play so much worse on stream.
Dude, I remember tuning into the 100 Next streams where it was like, pretty raw.
Oh,
you just like turn it on.
Those were just raw, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like those.
Dude, I mean, I think it's fine, man.
Wait. You got a diamond account? We can make some content together. You can do a boost me.
I see. That's tough. Hey, if it works, it works.
Smacks is playing the long game here.
No, it's for copy, I swear.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that, like, the raw streams, like, I always, like, tell players, like, it's always really important, like, to get picked up, like, in your shoes, like for an Academy team, like, you always have to have, like, a POV, multiple POVs, like, that you have, like, just to send coaches, because that's, like, what they ask for, right? If you stream, it's a free way to get POVs and also, like, grow yourself. And I mean, like, for all you guys, like, even if it's a raw stream, you guys are sick as fuck at the game, so, like, that's cool. Like, if you're playing well on stream, whether it's like just having that on, like not even checking chat and just like jamming out to music like what Niles does or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I was thinking of that.
It works, yeah. So, but yeah, it's a tough spot because like with COVID that hurt, because like one of the things that gave Academy a lot of exposure was the fact that it would precede or post-seed some of the LCS games where like you guys would like actually play on stage.
You're right.
And
I should miss completely on that.
I like those. I thought it was a great precursor to the LCS actually.
Yeah, those are actually pretty cool. Because
like,
I'd imagine after LCS games, you would just see you can maybe like talk to them, after you after the LCS schedule finishes, then the Academy schedule finishes, right? So
yeah, and
I imagine there's a lot of interactions.
It gives you like experience being on stage. You get to have a live audience, like whether they would do it like 2 hours before, and so like there'd be like 1 or 2 games, and then like there'd be like a 30-minute pre-show for LCS, like then like the games kicked off for LCS, right? So like the fans are like they're rolling in or rolling out if it's like post-seeding it, right?
Yeah.
You get stage experience. Bigger casters are covering you. Like as much as I love casting your games, I barely have 800 followers on Twitter. Riv has a bunch more, right? Like it's better exposure for you guys. Like if those guys are on it, like it's in studio, like those guys are covering the games. Like it's sweet. And I'm really bummed that like obviously COVID sucks. A lot of things that everyone's not quite able to do, but that's one where Academy kind of had to eat shit on that one, quite frankly, right? Like you aren't able to get that experience anymore. So yeah.
Well, that's a bummer, Cubby.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to do about that one. Hopefully it resumes, honestly, because like I know that the games are going to be played outside and in person the next 2 days.
Yeah.
So that
should be fun.
Exciting, and hopefully, as the vaccines roll out and all that, we can return to more normalcy.
Yo, we get to see Blabber get his MVP award. We get to see Pentakill come back apparently.
Yeah.
Just kind of nuts. Didn't think that was going to happen anytime soon.
I mean, Copy sees Blabber's like MVP award, and he's like, man, I can play Karma Galio bot and get my jungler MVP. Absolutely. That's his bread and butter right there.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, who do you think has been the MVP of Proving Grounds so far, Copy, from what you've seen?
Hard.
Like from Academy season or Proving Grounds so far?
Just all of it.
All of it? Because I think for Proving Grounds so far, the answer, if you don't say contracts, then you're kind of trolling with the 4 games he's put up.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, or like the duo between Viper and Anja.
Yeah,
like those guys too. But yeah,
Contracts
it's
is so good.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to see you guys play against Contracts on Thursday. Oh man,
Contracts are really good. Yeah.
Oh, Cubby, you didn't ask about JoJo Pion.
Oh yeah. How do you stack up against the 16-year-old Fortnite prodigy?
Jojo Baker.
Yeah.
He's obviously improved a lot too.
He's had a lot to improve upon, like just being newer to the game and young, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun matchup. I think both of us have like a similar playstyle, I'd say. But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that series is gonna be so good.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed watching EGA ramp up. I mean, we talked about it a little bit on this show too, but all the hype comes through from the guys who were playing in Scouting Grounds last year, Tony Top and Shoryu, and and JoJo too. He wasn't in Scouting Grounds, but he was still in solo queue and everything. So
exactly,
that team's been really cool. So I'm really glad that one of you guys is going to the winners finals. I hope that whoever loses that series keeps going and makes it to like the later games too.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about. Like, whoever loses is probably just gonna climb back up through losers and then lose a rematch again. So.
Who? Okay, then if that's the case, then who are you more scared of, EGA or no org? Because I feel like there's a clear top 3 now that we have so far, just given positioning in the bracket and the quality of play we've seen out of those 2 teams, and then your team as well.
Well, actually, I feel like you're missing out on a team, which is FlyQuest, because I think they're pretty good.
Yes.
Because they actually beat us in regular split, and they did lose to EGA, but I think that series was pretty close. So I think it's definitely a toss-up between those 3, but as for who I'm more scared of, it's probably... I don't know much about No Org, honestly, other than the games that we... Like, there's a lot of amateur, but I didn't watch all of that, so we'd have to do like more research on that, but definitely... I'll probably be more scared of Fly Academy.
I respect that answer because FlyQuest obviously dropping to EG, pretty dominant fashion from EG, but they have a very unique style that they are good at. I was talking about at the end of cast today, like they seed early game and they lose gracefully, and then they come into the mid game where triples on like Victor. All of a sudden, he's had 2 items, and they're only down like 2K gold, and they just rip through everyone in the team fight because they have like the late game scaling, right?
Exactly.
And I one of the things that I really like about this tournament is that like not every team is flexible. Most teams are not flexible at all. So you get to see like these, you get to see like these really unique styles that are crafted and somewhat perfected go toe to toe with another unique style that's crafted and somewhat perfected. And FlyQuest definitely have a very different take on the game in that they're playing to take 1 dragon early. They're going to seed Rift. They're going to get solo XP on Tomo. They're going to be down 2K gold when the 3rd dragon spawns, and from there they play out the game relatively intelligently, and they find a lot of wins that way, which is not the way that I think any other team in this tournament plays.
Yeah, I think they have a unique playstyle for sure.
Yeah.
That's a really cool answer. I didn't expect that from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good call. Because I think like Cubby said, the different play styles are so interesting because FlyQuest is a threat in this tournament, but they probably matched up against the one team that they didn't want to match up against the first one.
Exactly.
Because EG is all early.
I think that was a bad matchup. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely a good call. Who are they playing against, Cubby? Do you know? I'm gonna look it up. Let's see.
Do you know? I'm gonna look it up.
Oh yeah, you have them. You're casting them. So you better know, Cubby. Who is it? I'm kidding. It's Dig.
I was gonna say the lower it flipped. The lower bracket flipped. So you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dig. Okay. I actually really like FlyQuest in that matchup. I think that Dig, they seed a lot of side waves to make sure that they have priority over objective control, and I think that FlyQuest's objective control setup's really good. So I'm curious to see. Lordo went off on Gnar in that series, and like I'm curious to see if Lordo gets that champion, is allowed to get that champion again.
He plays Mega Gnar team fights so ridiculously well. It is very impressive.
And Spawn, credit to him, another Polar Ace member that you guys had to reverse sweep way back when. Copy. He's he's rock solid. He always has been, but you know, still that late team fight positioning, real good.
Yeah. Oh, this tournament is so fun. I have really enjoyed it. I'm glad to hear that because I know that some parts of the Proving Ground split have been less than enjoyable.
We're not going to break the only rule in this podcast, Max.
Yeah. Well, I was going to do it vaguely because there have been 6 tournaments that they put a lot of trust into. Not all of them delivered, and then there were not very many Academy games. So it was all. It all happened, you know. It was all just to lead us up to here, and this tournament's been badass. So
I'll break the rule briefly to explain the context to Copy. Copy, do you have any idea about what happened with Big League?
No, I do not.
It's better that way.
It's better that way. Yeah,
it's way better that way.
The one and only rule we have on the podcast is we don't talk about Big.
Interesting.
So we're not going to talk about Big. Yeah, we'll explain after.
We just shouldn't go there.
No, yeah, we'll explain after. That's for after hours.
All right. Speaking of after hours, we've had you here for about an hour now. Copy. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I said before.
Thanks for hanging with me while I had to wind down from that cast, and then also just inserted more caffeine into my system.
You yelled your heart out, man.
I mean, dude, the game 2 from Immortals Wildcard. If you guys are listening and you haven't seen that one. The 4 games we saw today were all fantastic, but I legitimately think that's one of the best games of competitive League I've seen in all of Amateur this year.
Awesome.
It was 2 similar styled comps. Both teams were playing it out really well, and that came down to just tooth and nail in the end. And props to Immortals for coming back and pulling that out and then pushing it to a game 3, which we will see later. Rumor is those will be rescheduled on Sunday. According to the head coach of Immortals, his latest tweet. But hopefully we are able to bring those games to the fans. As I mean, the first 2 games, I think the RBM's in chat right now saying those games were bangers. Yeah, they were fucking bangers. it was a fun series so far. It's really closely contested, which is what I was expecting from those two teams. They match up. They have similar styles, so it's gonna be close. So yeah.
All right. Well, copy. You got any final words that you want to say to the people listening?
Yeah. Catch me in Proving Grounds. I think it's next Thursday. We play EGA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this tournament's like really fun. I feel like it's
Yeah.
even gonna get more fun when next week we're playing BO5s, which is like pretty insane. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. You can catch me there. Watch all of us Smurf, and yeah, we're gonna win it.
That's what we like
Hell
to
yeah.
hear, man. Thanks for joining us before Smacks wraps it up.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, I mean absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
You were on our list as someone like we really enjoyed watching you climb through amateur, and we always want to see the cream of the crop rise to the top. So it's fun watching you make the
No, I
climb
appreciate
yourself
that.
and go from
guys have-
amateur to academy and be doing well. So yeah.
You guys have been climbing too, from the bottom of casters, and then now you're all the way up here. So
Yeah, man, we're trying our best. So it's
We're all-
a little
we're all
bit of the
climbing
same
up.
for us too. So yeah.
now we're all
True.
climbing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when's
What's the
our
plan?
duo stream? We gotta schedule that.
All right, later, guys.
I'm not that bad. Okay. I am not that bad. Anyway.
Smacks peaked
Uh,
master, so like what you can
yeah.
do with one hand.
It was on support too, so yeah, probably.
Maybe 3 fingers.
Yeah. Anyway, you can check out Copy on Twitter at LOL_copy.
We got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on the screen right there. And just like you said, you can catch him on Proving Grounds on Thursday, and Cubby as well will be on Tuesday. So
When's your next appointment, Smacks?
the 17th, which is Saturday.
The desk days. Yeah.
Yeah, we get a desk, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for who I've got there, but I won't spill that right now. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. This has been episode 17 of the Proving Grounds pod. I definitely didn't just read that off the screen. And you can follow us on all of our platforms. We got Twitter at pgroundspod, where we post a bunch of updates and other things for our show. And then all audio platforms, we've got Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, and Apple, and Anchor, and Google. You can check us out on all of those. But thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday, Cubby?
Yes, Monday with Tim Sevenhusen, the
There it
stats man
is.
himself. So yeah.
There it is. So yeah, definitely check us out then. And we will see you all then. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.